Hi everyone, how is it going? It's Thursday, August 30th. It's the MLB pick Sprapp. We didn't have a great day yesterday. So I got a question about, hey Ken, how's it going? How are the stats doing? Are you making money? What's up? So let's go over that in detail first, and then we'll go up a preliminary review of the matchups today for Thursday's games. There are a couple early games. I have information in there, but I don't have lineups yet, obviously, because it's super early in the morning. It's 8:30 a.m. So let's talk about how the file's been doing overall. We've got some stats in here that are very streamlined from my birthday, from July 30th until today. It's been a little over a month. So as a whole, how are things doing? The answer is we're about even overall based on our bet score, right? So does that stink? Are we even? The answer is, well, we're kind of even. And we're only even if you bet every single thing that the file would have told you to bet at the lines that were listed here. However, it's not always what we talk about in the videos. We talk about strengths of games and things called bet scores. So the file kicks out a bet score that you see in the snapshot that's generated every day. It's in this column. And if the bet score is greater than 0, supposedly it wants us to bet it. But the higher that bet score is, the more valuable or the stronger the belief is that it's a good bet and that we're going to win the game. So what I've done is I've ordered all of our picks. We've had, I think, like 300 or some picks throughout the whole month here. What have we done? 335 picks. And I ordered them by bet score here. And we order it by bet score, we can start to run a running profit. Let's say we started with $100 and we were betting $1 a game here at all these bet scores. What you'll see happen is a running bankroll right here that shows you this, this first game, this big favorite game. This was a Boston game at negative 222 on August 10th. That was our highest ranking that we had based on our file. So you can see that we're making money, we're making money. We're winning, we're doing okay. And then we're doing fine. And I'm still looking at, a little oscillation, but up and down, up and down. Right about here is where you max out. Right around 3.87. And we've been talking about this in the videos, which is over 3.5, I thought it was. That's where I thought around over 3.5. This was becoming pretty reliable, and that's where we should focus our picks on. And that does show over, how many games is this? This is over 108 games, 108 sample. You're showing up 6 units, betting 1 unit at a time. So that's basically 108 units wager. So that's 6% ROI over that's pretty darn good and consistent. I mean, that's fine. I'm accepting of that. So what happens when you go all the way down? You see that we start to hit more random patterns as our bet scores reach this area. So the question is there value in the bet score above 0? And the answer is, when you get to 0, all the way down here, it is about even, right? We came off a bad day yesterday. Tomorrow it could be up a few units, but we're just kind of basically oscillating around even. But bet scores above 3.5 seem to be more consistent, and that's what we should focus on, as well as enhancing the file with splits and home and away splits, and also left and right-handed pitchers. Now, another thing as well, how many of those picks, of those top-end picks, are we talking about? Are we going to be able to make in a day? Are we going to be able to do something like a parlay or a round robin? How are your pick ranks doing per day, Ken, was the question that I got. And so here I have a table that I've set up to kind of show that, so that we can browse. So this huge table here, what this is showing is all the games by bet score, and then it also has the days over here in the columns. And what those days are doing, are just going to make it easy for us to look down and say how many games, in order did we win in a row. If it's a positive number, it's going to be a win. If it's a negative number, it's going to be a loss. And you don't have to look at this. I know it's tough to watch from whatever monitor you're on, but you can just look from day to day. Let's actually work backwards and show you how awful yesterday was. Yesterday we lost 4.5 units. It was a day that both Vegas and me got murdered. I mean, basically Cleveland lost. Of course, I stayed away from Cleveland because you know how much I hate them. But they did lose. And then the Yankees lost. Atlanta, Tampa Bay blew up over Atlanta for no reason. The Yankees lost to the White Sox. That was sort of predictable a little bit if you watch. Boy, these are some angry bugs here. I got to get on the road early. That's why I'm doing this so early and getting out of here. Toronto, I didn't really want you to play against Baltimore, although I did take Toronto over 4.5 runs, and that won yesterday. So I called that one and hit that. Oakland, poor Oakland, fought but lost. Oakland plus 1.5 would have won for you, but they couldn't win it straight up. And then the Dodgers managed to win. Arizona managed to win. The Cubbies lost to the Mets in that second game after the suspension. And Milwaukee won a ping pong game 13-12, so that was a win. Seattle blew it to San Diego. They were only negative 110. That's one where Vegas beat me. So anyway, yesterday, look at that. Terrible. 1-4 in your top 5. I like to look at the top 5. Now, the day before, we were 4-1. All right? So, like I said, about even well. How about the day before that? Oh, my God. Terrible. And 2 of these games are above bet score. Good Lord. All right, now we get hot again. You can see you really have to look at this thing over days and weeks, not over just one day at a time, because anything can happen in a sample of 10 games, and it's a lesson to be learned. But here you got 6 in a row in 26. We are 2-3 here. 2-3 here, not looking great. 3-2. Actually, see how there's a lot of games down here? The question is, how do we maximize on this? How do we really have the file kick us back? Optimal picks. I'm trying to do it with the bet score, and as you can see, I am mildly successful. Really only at the 6% range is what you can claim as success. There's a 3-2, but also no money. We also need to talk about overs and unders, because overs and unders, as it's been pointed out to me, end up making, giving you more favor. Wow, look at this day. Jesus. We need one of those days again. What was that? 11-1 on the 17th. 2-3. So we're seeing a lot of 2s and 3s and 3s and 2s. Slight profit, slight loss, then crazy big day. Here's a good day on the 14th. Well, anyway, what we can also do is one other thing, which is take a look at the team and use the team also as a guide as well as the bet score when determining whether or not we make the pick. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've seen it happen over and over again, where teams that we love, even though Oakland lost yesterday, they did fight, and they would have won at plus 1.5, which was a reasonable line. St. Louis did not pull it off yet. I mean, this is just a terrible day for Vegas yesterday. St. Louis, Atlanta, Boston came back and scored like 37 runs in the 7th inning. The White Sox win. Kansas City, they won yesterday against Detroit. Detroit is awful. Don't ever play Detroit. You can see you don't play Detroit. What this does is this filters back into, I know we're going long here, 8 minutes already in the video, so we'll talk about the matchups briefly for those who care, but there's going to be an update to this later. This ROI team and history will tell you who the pink, don't, even if they're favored in the game, don't mess with them. Right? Is anybody, like here, the Dodgers over Arizona. I don't win a lot with the Dodgers, and it's a low pick, so this would say stay away based on the logic we're talking about. So let's quickly go through the games. I have not done. I need to update JAHAP stats. All right, yeah, there's things I need to do. I'm just quickly glancing. It likes nobody in Milwaukee, Cincinnati. Clevenger. Good old Cleveland, it wants in there over Minnesota with Odorizzi. Both these teams I don't like. You might consider an over in this game, actually, although it's at 9, but maybe a team over for Cleveland. We don't ever bet on Detroit, so that means we might bet on the Yankees. This is an awful line. The Yankees are not playing great either. God, this is going to be a trouble day. You can smell it. Pittsburgh and St. Louis doesn't like anyone. If anything, I do St. Louis plus 1.5, but it looks like they're going to be a slight favorite, so that's trouble. But they're probably not going to lose 2 in a row. They're fighting for a pennant. The Cubs in Atlanta, I will go back. Oh, wait a minute. That's the Cubs. That's not Miami. Hold on a second. Yep. Wait a minute. That's going to be a battle. I like the over in this game. even though the ERAs are low. It says 5-3, right? When I see these two bet scores, boy, there's a lot to talk about today, folks. We're going to have to do a supplemental video later today before 7. Do we want to do anything in the early games? You can bet Cleveland's team over. You know what another one is? If Minnesota's team over is plus 3.5, although they got Clevenger going, maybe you could just take Cleveland. They blew it yesterday, so they scared everybody away yesterday by blowing a game. So they'll probably win today. That's how they roll. All right, Cincinnati. Let's see. So that's a tough game here. Lots of tough action. Boston against a White Sox team that's coming off beating the Yankees at a really good line, and Boston's been kind of iffy on this run. Every game is trouble today. Watch out. You can see these bet scores are above 3. So according to our logic, we're supposed to bet all 3 of these at -205, -310, and -200. That's awful. There's a lot of discussion about how to read into the file and what you need to do with it, because I don't want to take it verbatim. I want to also read into the stats and see if there's anything to optimize on. Angels, we're going to need lineups in here. No lineups in here at all. Houston with Verlander should obviously beat the Angels. That seems like that is a good bet. Seattle and Oakland. Of course, I like Oakland without even looking, especially after Seattle blows it to San Diego yesterday. Absolutely take Oakland at -135. I'm going to bet that right now. Arizona and the Dodgers. It likes the Dodgers slightly, but we talked about... What did we talk about with them there? We haven't really been a winner with them. The line's not awful. And the number one pick of the day with no lines in here, let's guess what they're going to be. It's probably going to be -150 plus 135, something like that. Maybe even 160. Because Marquez is pretty good. That's still going to give you a third pick. That's probably a good pick. San Diego, I don't know why they won yesterday, but from the 2 in a row would be interesting. All right, we're out for now. I'll do another update and a snapshot later in the day, but I hope this helps to show you what we're doing with picks. I think that it's an honest thing to say that we are about an even over since the 30th. By the way, there's also other videos that started from July 3rd to the 30th where we're up 75% during that period of time. We're also on a little downward roll right now from a rough couple days, but it always picks up, and we have football starting, and in football I have a history of doing up to 70% winning in football as well. So good Lord, lots going on. Anyway, so we'll be back, and I don't think there'll be any animals making picks today because I'll be on the road. So we're out.